my dear Sitecore friends. So today we have not one but two people with us. You already know Sahil. So Sahil comes mainly from a sales background here. He's a sales director, business development director here at Horizontal, and we had a great conversation in one of the podcasts in the past around how Sitecore ecosystem is good from a sales perspective, and how overall Sitecore also enables in selling. And today we also have Shilpa with us. So Shilpa comes with a broad background of around 15 years in the digital transformation space, and she is a client partner here at Horizontal from last around 5 years, I believe.
Yes.
So welcome both of you to Sitecore Tech Talks.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
yeah, and today we will mainly talk about generally when we talk of clients, one size doesn't fit all, right? So every client needs are different, every customer needs are different, their business is different in some or the other way. And how does Sitecore per se take care in making sure it is a personalized product for that particular business, so that they can eventually succeed, getting better revenue, going up the scale, getting their brand out there in the first place. So before we just go ahead, I'd just like to say this is kind of a three-legged stool that we have. Somebody who gets us in the door and makes sure that the clients are having enough confidence within the team, somebody who makes sure that we are partnering with the client the right way, understanding their problems and solving them, and a little bit of work wherein we could deliver that in a way. So hopefully as a part of this podcast, we'll be able to share some knowledge out there to the Sitecore community on how to work on Sitecore, and how in ways Sitecore is helpful. So let's start with what is your thought process around Composable? Who'd like to go first in the group?
First?
I think Composable for me is, I look at it as Lego bricks, right?
Mm-hmm.
So with Lego bricks, you can just formulate your own, module or toys the way you want it. So each part is a different brick, and you can just put it all together and form different things based on your interests or based on your business objectives. So I think for me it's about how these small things all come together as and when required.
I like that analogy. Sahil?
I'm just thinking composability for me would be, probably I would think of it from a real estate standpoint. That if I as a user have limited budget today or limited usage today, then I would want to just lay down the foundation and just have ground floor of house, right? If I don't have the budgets and my means are taken care of with just one floor. Maybe in the future, if I have budget, if I have the need, I would want to lay down a garden around my house, or if the need increases, I want to add another floor to my house. So for me, I think composability is on-demand pooling of resources and getting the work done.
You both have, I think, hit the bullseye. I am a technologist, so I'll go a little technical.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, Composable. So I'd like to compare, let's say different remote controls.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say a television remote control initially, if you talk of the 90s, we had like maybe 10 channels,
Yeah.
right? And a power on and off button. And then we have, a remote with, digits 1 to 0,
Yeah.
right? And then we have 99 channels or maybe 1000 channels, right? But eventually, do we use those? No.
Yeah.
Okay.
And now, if we talk of a different analogy, the same remote but in a different way. Let's say if you have a Amazon Fire Stick, or maybe if you have if you're presenting somewhere, you have a presentation remote, right? It's so simple.
Mm-hmm.
It just has a forward and a backward button, and maybe a laser to do it. So I think that is composability.
I think with the same lines, right? Earlier, you would have like hundreds of channels, right? And you were paying for the whole, like the whole purchase of all the channels, the package. But now, actually, the cable people actually give you option to choose which channels
Precisely.
you want to pay for, rather than having to pay for the whole lot.
The
So you
whole
just pick and choose regional languages or channels that interest you,
Yep.
and you pay only for those channels.
Absolutely. So, Sahil, when you approach various clients and try selling them Sitecore, what are the pieces or what are the parts that you really focus on? Like how do you really go towards selling Sitecore? If I just put it in plain words.
I think from a sales angle, I get to meet prospects who are currently using Sitecore's, one of their Sitecore's products,
Right.
and also the set of people who are not using Sitecore or are working using some other CMS. I think I'll take the first example first, that the ones who are already on Sitecore, they might be paying for the whole platform of Sitecore's, right? As we just talked about channels, right? You get the entire package. So earlier, Sitecore used to sell the entire platform, but I think as the needs have evolved, so has Sitecore. So Sitecore is responding to the market's demands, and it no more only sells the platform or the entire platform together.
Correct.
They have broken down the entire platform into chunks basis their need, their requirement, so that it becomes more sellable, so that it becomes more on demand. It caters to the requirements of the clients, to the budgets, right? So I think Sitecore has made my life easier, because I no more have to sell, the entire platform when they don't need it, or I have to just talk about the pieces that they require at this point in time.
So
the moment I heard budget, I knew there was a client partner in place.
Yeah. So that's what I've seen the trend with the clients as well, where when they initially bought XP, right, they had a whole gamut as a huge chunk of features and functionality, which all looked fancy and beautiful when they bought it.
Yep.
And of course, everybody want to utilize all of it. However, change is something that's not instant, or you can't operationally, you can't get everybody onto the same page. As much as you have those features, not everybody was leveraging those features to the full potential. So from the 100% of features available to you, the clients would utilize maybe 30-40% of it.
Correct. Very much.
Right? And that was the problem, right? Because they had that, these amazing, features that, they bought it knowing, what it could do for them.
Yes.
But they didn't know how to, utilize it to their potential. And which is why, later Sitecore realized that this was happening. And that's when they decided to, to break this down into chunks, where that you can utilize, individual products based on your need and business objectives and, based on your roadmap. And you can just plug and play. And you pay as you go based on, as your usage, rather than paying a license fee for the whole chunk. You pay a subscription fee based on your usage.
Yeah. And I think that is where even, like Microsoft has leveraged Azure in the same way. And that has worked. It's a success scenario, because then you are only doing or only paying for what you're utilizing.
Yeah. At the end of the day, that's what we want to do, right? We want to pay for what we're actually using and not just blindly pay for something that we're not.
Correct. And also the one great point that you touched upon is, only 30 or 40% of the features are being utilized.
Yeah, and also the infra cost, the amount.
Cost. Yep, absolutely. And the other way of looking at it also, which I really feel, when I'm looking at it from a technology angle, is we might say, what, I'm an e-commerce, but then I still first want to build out my brand, my website, and then go e-commerce, right? So it might still be a roadmap of, let's say, 6 months down the line, I want to go with a website where e-commerce is supported.
Yeah.
But then why do I pay for that,
So
particular piece?
Even with personalize, unless and until you get that data, you won't be able to personalize based on.
Just go to CDP and just collect the data and then identify your customers, audience, and then do it. Absolutely agree with you.
I think that's a good route. Everybody is moving to composable now,
Yeah.
and I think, and it is the next big thing. I think gradually it's just going to become inevitable where everybody will have to move to composable at some point in future, because the legacy systems are definitely going to be left behind. So I think we need to start thinking forward and start preparing for it today.
I, 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 I would agree with you partially, because then there are going to be institutions, who don't want to get the data outside of their premise.
Yeah, but if you don't, like if you don't move with the trend,
Yeah.
then you are going to be left behind, and you're not going to be in lead with your competition anymore.
I agree with you partially, not 100%. The reason being, Sitecore still supports on platform. Like if you look at Sitecore 10.4, which recently came out with so many new features, like 200 plus new features. So I think it is also Sitecore's commitment to support not just the SaaS platform, but also the platform which goes either on the managed cloud which Sitecore supports, or the on-prem which they would, if they want to put it in their environment. So it's not that they're shutting off those customers who have a data privacy thing, or that they cannot get it out of their environment or system. It's not that they're leaving them behind. They're still thinking of everybody on everybody's case.
I think they are, like you said, the limitation with having on cloud is with the data privacy, and a lot of financial institutions or hospitalized because for legal reasons, and where the data centers are currently placed, have limitations with moving to cloud.
Correct. And although, Sitecore, if you talk of only XM Cloud, only the CMS piece, right? It's never going to save any data.
Yeah.
There are going to be other systems to pick the data, but still there is that notion that my data is out there on the cloud, and I don't want to get it out of my comfort zone. So probably it's also going to evolve with the various compliances that are coming in, and that is exactly where I wanted to move next. So any one of you, if you'd like to pick this up, generally when we go to clients, and of course if it is a SaaS product, I'm sure people will ask for compliances. So do you face any of that struggle?
Yeah, definitely. People are paying hefty amount of money for an enterprise system, right? What differentiates you from an open source is that you're enterprise, and what enterprise promises you is that security. And how you meet the compliance that is required. So yes, because we deal with enterprise clients and customers, it's very important we adhere to the security and compliance. And most of our clients are either in finance, or they're in marketing, or manufacturing, and hospitality, and even pharma. Yeah, so it's very important that
and I think probably
it gets a legal sign off.
Yeah, with time maybe we are able to solve this problem, of having a data center local in your local country. Right. I'm not sure if Sitecore has a data center in India for the XM Cloud offering of theirs.
Not right now, as far as I know. But I'm sure it's in the plans.
Yeah. So while the companies, the clients who would have a very strong or strict legal regulatory compliance of keeping the data within the country, they might have to wait. But the ones who are open to having data centers outside India, they are very much welcome, and they should not be thinking of any latency, because the way we as implementation partners at Horizontal, how we lay down their infrastructure, the CDN thing comes into play. So by virtue of that, we are able to take care of the latency factor. So I just want to call out to the people, to the clients who are thinking that if the data center is not in India, it will lead to some latency. The website might be responsive, might not be responding in time. So that's not the case with the XM Cloud SaaS offering.
Very much, absolutely. I think a couple of cents here. Even though, even if you say, those clients might have to wait from the perspective of going SaaS, still Sitecore does support getting on-premise or on-pass, for that matter, in your same environment. So you can still get it done.
Okay.
It's, of course, you can't go SaaS, but then Sitecore can be still supported in your country, wherein you can go and, for example, you have an application on Sitecore, because we're talking of currently those clients who are on Sitecore,
Yeah.
who have been in the Sitecore ecosystem in the past. So for them, I don't think it's going to be a big challenge. Of course, they can get ready to go SaaS,
Yeah.
but still be there in the ecosystem and keep upgrading, keep getting up to the latest trends.
I think the other limitation we've also noticed with some of the clients is they don't want to be the first one to implement something.
Precisely. I agree
They
with
they
you.
want to see if somebody else has been successful in that
Yeah.
with the same domain, and then see how then they can translate that.
As a case study for themselves, learning from this. But I think sometimes what happens is, again, I'm a little deviating towards my technical angle, but I've seen this that sometimes if you have uh, the one who know the product in and out, if you are with that particular partner, they will take care of all the best practices, and eventually what matters is the implementation way
Yeah.
to take it forward. Because as an example, not sure if you've heard initially, for example, if you had MVC renderings,
Yeah.
and now we went headless, right? And then now also we have GraphQL in place. So these are just technical verticals,
Yeah.
right? So whether it was MVC, whether it was headless, or whether components using GraphQL and all, at horizontal we have been following the best practices. If it was MVC and it was taking time, we made sure if it is static data, it has to be cached. It is simple, right?
Yeah.
But then because we had that thought process of implementation of giving the best to the customers, the best at that time.
Yeah.
But now it's headless, so why not go headless? That's how we can.
And then picking up from where Shilpa left, you're talking about people are afraid of taking the first step,
Yeah.
right? So I would want to call out one of our clients, the pharma major in India. We see them as visionaries, and I'm pretty sure
Innovators.
innovators,
Yeah, very
and
much.
I'm sure they'll get the first mover advantage of improving their digital customer experiences, going to the market in the best possible way with Sitecore. So we really appreciate your vision. I don't want to call out the name, so yeah, but then we really admire your vision, and we are happy to be associated with you. And I'm sure you'll get the first mover advantage, and the entire pharma industry is looking up to you. In no time, I'm presuming, and I'm hoping other pharma
They'll
companies.
soon be a trendsetter.
Yeah, definitely.
They will be, of course. I have no doubts there.
Yeah, I hope other pharma companies, follow the trend and.
Well, let's talk about those who are not on Sitecore and we get them on Sitecore. How is the trend generally, or how do you deal with those conversations, Sahil?
I think Sitecore being an enterprise software, it comes with its own features, but so it comes with its price as well, right? So I think with the composability factor, we would be able to bring a lot of new customers onto Sitecore who didn't have the budget earlier to spend on the entire spectrum of Sitecore's products, because it came as a platform. But I think with the composability factor, we will be able to rope in a lot of new clients who are currently who were probably shying away from Sitecore in the past. I think it's a welcome move from a sales angle.
And I think that is where I think the composability factor will help you a lot. Not 100% sure, but because then instead of selling a bigger product and justifying the need for all the things that does, you could start small.
Indeed, I was talking to one of the prospects a few days back, and they were on an open source CMS, and they wanted to understand if Sitecore has gone composable or not, and can one of the products of Sitecore's integrate with their CMS, right? One of the marketing automation tools of Sitecore, which is Sitecore Send, for example, can it get plugged in seamlessly?
I think that's how Sitecore's designed it, where you can just plug it, play it with any technology.
Well,
It's
stop.
not just restricted.
I would like to stop here because if the other CMS is Mac enabled,
Right,
it has to be microservices and API enabled
right.
infrastructure. If yes, then yes. Alright, so Shilpa, all those first time clients, right, who thanks to Sahil and Sitecore, they have purchased XM Cloud. As a client partner, what do you do to get them onto the newer XM Cloud?
I think as a first step, they would have purchased XM Cloud for a reason, right? So we would have already understood, they would have understood their, business objectives, their business case, and then we would have, they would have purchased XM Cloud for a reason. So the first activity, what we would do is, to do a whole discovery and put together a roadmap for, for that financial year or, for the couple of years on what their vision is. And once you build the website, obviously there's a lot of data that get collected, and based on the roadmap, we would then go on to plugging and playing, like we put in personalize, for doing personalization based on the data that we've collected, and how we can personalize the customer engagement, for send for their marketing activities. So there's a lot based on their pipeline of work and where they see themselves for that year. We can plug and play and incorporate maybe content hub if they need a digital asset management system. So there's lots we can actually like bring into the picture as we go along, and based on that discovery we do with them.
Absolutely. I think one thing that I would also like to add, hang on, because you covered a lot on from a technical perspective as well, which shows the handshake that we have.
Because we need to visualize the entire end-to-end
Correct.
roadmap, not
Correct.
just think of what
just today, but
yeah.
what exactly, because more often than not we generally take technology first and then try solving the problem, but here we actually need to understand the customer
Yeah.
problem first to suggest them that technology will work. So absolutely makes sense there, and I think that is a part of strategy.
I think the main question that they need to we need to get them to answer is, what does success look like at the end of this process,
Yeah.
and what are the metrics that they're trying to achieve.
Yep, I agree with you there. From the perspective wherein you already have clients or people already on Sitecore XPs and XMs in say on-premise, or maybe PaaS environments, or maybe managed cloud in Sitecore for that matter. What is the way, or what is the strategy to get them onto XM Cloud, or what it is that helps them make a decision that XM Cloud is better?
Yeah. When as a client partner, right, I will always put my client first and their business needs. But what I would encourage clients, the reason to move to XM Cloud is simply on the hefty, infra costs that they bear every year. And that's quite a lot.
And the maintenance hassle as
And the
well.
maintenance hassle, the upgrades each year. So, there's a lot of cost saving there. So, originally your XM Cloud might seem like a hefty price, but if you actually calculate the entire cost that you have, the TCO that you have for the whole, or for your Azure costs and everything, this actually seems, you will be cutting costs by literally 30%. So I think, operationally, this is definitely the right move, and there's a lot of cost savings.
Yeah, I'm not sure of the percentage, but I'm sure it will be substantial.
Yeah,
Because-
even if you look at comparison between license and subscription,
Yes.
rather than paying a hefty one-time license fee for the entire year, here you're paying a subscription cost based on your usage. So that's you pay as you go.
Precisely. I agree with you there. And one great topic that you touched upon is upgrades.
Yeah.
There is, at the end of every maybe 2 or 3 years, you have to think about upgrading Sitecore, because then that's where you get the security updates. That's where you get the feature updates. Otherwise, what is the
Yeah,
meaning
it's
of
hassle free because it all gets done on cloud and
Correct,
by
correct.
Sitecore.
So you have a license, and if you're not upgrading, it's as good as why are you paying it for? So of course you have to upgrade to get the latest features and security.
And you
But-
mentioned, TCO. So TCO is total cost of ownership, just for our viewers. So, we're going to the market at Horizontal. We're going to the market, talking about the total cost of ownership for any client, for them to move from the existing Sitecore subscriptions to the XM Cloud, from an XP or an XM to the XM Cloud. So we have a lot of webinars going on demand webinars, which you can refer to, which you can attend. You can request us as well, and we can speak to you to make you to walk you through to your total cost of ownership to when you migrate from your existing versions to the XM Cloud.
Well, so any last minute thoughts around the composability feature, or how composable would look like in future?
I mean, from a sales standpoint, I'm very happy. I'm very thankful to Sitecore for going composable. It makes my life easy. It makes me, sales easy. So yeah, thank you.
I'm looking forward to it.
Alright. Well, from technical things, if I really say, I think we tech people always like to learn new things. So it is good to keep us busy with the newer technical updates. And I think that was Sahil and Shilpa for you. We hope you like this episode. Let us know how you feel, and looking forward to meeting you again in another podcast together.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Have a good one.